So I was inspired to make this video by two different creators, so shout out to them. I'll leave their stuff either in the description or I'll put it on screen right here. So today I decided to put my own little twist on it and make it the 5 levels of underground rappers. I just found it kind of unnecessary to do 7 levels because I couldn't really think of names for every single category, and 11 was just way too much. But before we get into the actual video, I want to give a huge shout out to you guys because we recently just hit 1,000 subscribers, and I wouldn't be here without you guys. And that same day I hit 1,000, a ton of you guys came over on Instagram. You guys went in my DMs, you guys talked to me, and I had a lot of fun actually talking to a lot of you guys. So right before we get into the actual video, be sure to like and subscribe to the video. We are on the road to 2,000 subscribers now, which is something I couldn't even imagine saying a couple of months ago. So once again, just a huge shout out to you guys, and I will be leaving my Instagram and my Twitter in the description. If you guys ever feel like talking to me, feel free to DM me, follow me, because I love talking to you guys, and you guys show me so much love and so much support, and I wouldn't be here without you guys. But yeah, other than that, let's get into the first level of this video. So for the first level, I decided to call this tier the barely listenable tier, and these are the type of rappers where they make that heavy distorted music, or music that's just personally not my taste. And you guys might find these artists really good, but for me, they are just not my cup of tea. So the first rapper in this tier is obviously gonna go to Too Slimy. Now, I found out after making a couple of videos mentioning Too Slimy that a lot of people are actually fans of him. And if you guys are fans of Too Slimy, by all means, keep listening to his music and all that. I'm glad that you guys like him so much. But between him having heavy 808s and him being offbeat 99% of the time in his music, I just can't enjoy listening to his music myself. If I were to come on here and really say I like Too Slimy, it just feels like I'm forcing myself to listen to that music, and never feel like you have to force yourself to like something just because it's cool or popular or niche. The next rapper I got in this tier is Bleed. And I know Bleed similarly has a very big audience similar to Too Slimy. It's just not my cup of tea because his vocals are very loud, very distorted, and very heavy. And I could see him getting out of this tier. Like, he's not bad, it's like too bad, but he is just a little too distorted for me. But you know, I'm looking forward to see how he grows as an artist, how he develops his sound, and I hope that he doesn't stay in that 808 rage lane. I can see him diversifying his sound. Maybe he can move into the EDM lane, that kind of club lane. I don't know, because it's really only the start of his career. I saw that he jumped from 20K to 80K monthly, so the fans are definitely there. It's just how he actually does his music in the future. But those are the 2 rappers I have in this category right here. Let me know if there's any other rappers you guys think should go in here, because personally, I don't have any music that I wouldn't deem unlistenable in my playlist. And I just kind of went through my playlist and asked a couple of people in the underground space. And these are the 2 names I've seen the most that people want to be in this specific category. But with the first category out of the way, let's move on to the second level. Now for the second level, I'm gonna call it the clone category. Now these are artists who are, you know, maybe they're finding their sound, or maybe they're just straight up clones. And the first artist who's gonna go in this category is none other than Raining Lowell. And if you guys don't know who Raining Lowell is, and you guys are on TikTok, just go look him up and you guys would know exactly who he's cloning. But Raining Lowell is the most obvious Che clone of all time. I can't take him seriously as an artist for how hard he's straight up cloning Che. And he's recently been blowing up for a meme where someone asks him who's his inspiration, and we all know his inspiration is Che. Like, it's not hard to see by listening to his music, how he promotes, how he even looks. But he like took a pause and then he said, oh, it's himself. But the craziest part about all this is how much he's kind of dodging saying that he's a Che clone. Like, whenever he posts a TikTok promoting his music, the first thing you're gonna see in the comments is like, oh, you're a Che clone. Oh, you're biting this from Che. You're biting this from somebody. And he doesn't tend to respond to it until it's like in his face, like how that interview was. But if you guys even scroll a little bit on his profile, he has TikToks literally saying, oh, do I sound like Che? Or why do you guys keep saying that I take inspiration from Che? So he obviously knows that he's inspired by him. Just accept it, like just own it. Because personally, I don't think he'll ever get out of that light from being a Che clone unless he does a full 180 on his sound, which I don't see him doing because it's kind of working for him. He has around 60K monthly on Spotify. So people obviously are listening to him, but he is the most clear clone of all time. Another artist who I could deem a clone is Brennan Jones. And Brennan Jones was known for working with Eligotscales, and his first initial songs sounded like Glock 40 Spaz to me. Now I might be tripping, you guys might hear something different, but I heard Glock 40 Spaz in the first couple of his songs. especially Duval. But then he took a little bit of a break from music, and then I seen a snippet that he posted, and then he proceeded to sound exactly like Nine Vicious. You guys might not have heard that snippet, but just go look. I think it was on like this Orange EP that he released. He sounded exactly like Nine Vicious. And maybe you guys are fans of him, but I'm gonna deem him a clone. Now, for the third person I put in this category, it's not a specific person, but it's kind of any new artist that I see on TikTok. It all sounds like a clone of Netspend or Osama. It's either those two artists or Cardi, also Cardi. All three of those artists get cloned to hell on TikTok. And one thing I could say to all new artists, if you're watching this video, please find your own sound. Please find your own sound. You do not have to clone anybody to blow up. People blow up because they are unique. But yeah, that's it for the clone category. Let me know any artists that I should have included in this list. I know the list probably goes on and on, especially for this specific category, but let me know any artists that should have been included in the clone category. Let's move on to the next level, which is level 3. Now, for the next category on this list, I decided to call it the upcoming category. Now, the definition for this category is basically artists who are just now kind of getting their break mid this year, or maybe the ending of this year, going into 2026. Now, these could be artists around 50K to 200K monthly, or, you know, they had one really good album this year that really put them on the map, but I feel like they still have a bit more to prove. Now, for the first artist in this category, it's going to be Teezus and the entire OA group. OA had a crazy year this year, getting massive cosigns from Young Thug. They signed to Young Thug, and their numbers are not quite there to put them into level 4 or 5, but they are steadily growing, and I could see them taking off way more in 2026. As long as they play their cards right and they stick around Young Thug, who has a lot of knowledge of the rap game, they should be pretty fine in their career. For the next rapper in this category, it's going to go to Rex V2, which is an artist I mentioned in my last video, who I could see really taking off in 2026 because he blew up off a TikTok promo. And not a lot of artists actually broke off a TikTok promo unless their music is good. And Rex has been climbing up a little bit in 2023, 2024, and he really took off in 2025, releasing 2 really good projects. If he keeps going at this rate, he could easily be where 1AM's at, or Che or Xavier's at by next year or the year after that. Overall, I'll be really excited to see how his growth happens and what rate it goes at for next year. I also have Osana on this list. Osana is heavily affiliated with Osama and 1AM, but he just doesn't drop enough music to be where they're at. He's already sitting at around 100K monthly with only 1 album released, so he's doing something right. He just needs to drop a little bit more music to really push his numbers up and get that recognition in the underground. And he recently signed a deal under Osama's label, so he's gonna be on his way up either in 2026, hopefully not 2027, because that's just way too long to only have dropped 1 album. And for the last artist I have in this category, it's going to be Kells, who dropped a really good project this year, and he already has major cosigns from Lucky and other artists, so really excited to see where he goes as well. But yeah, that's my level 3. That's the upcoming category. Let me know any artists that should have been in there as well, and let's move on to level 4. Now, my level 4 category is going to be called On the Rise to Mainstream Underground. Now, mainstream underground is like artists like Netspend, Osama, just to name a few, and these are artists that are literally getting on the cusp of that, but they are not quite there. Now, for the first artist I have in this category, it's going to be 1AM, and as I said before, he is heavily affiliated with Osama and Osana, and he recently dropped a really good project that boosted his numbers. So I just feel like if he stays on that same track, he could definitely be in the mainstream underground next year or the year after that. The next artist I have in this category is Prada Bag Shawty, who had a really good year in 2024 and 2025, and as long as he plays his cards right and sticks right with his label, he's gonna be up there. Like, he's gonna be way out of the underground and probably mainstream because he has that style of music. He recently went on tour with Coach Ice, so he's doing the right things. He's gonna be out of the underground in no time. Now, for the next artist, I'm actually gonna put them as like a 2-in-1, and that's Pretty Fun and Lucy Bedrock. They are 2 artists that have really kind of have their own lane carved out, still under that kind of rage genre, more Pretty than Lucy, but Lucy and Pretty have a really stable fan base, and they both dropped really good albums in 2023 and 2025 respectively. If they keep doing what they're doing, they're gonna go up. Pretty already has cosigns with Lil Uzi Vert and many different rappers, so he's already out of there, and Lucy is just coming up straight off the strength of his good music. So those are another 2 artists that I'll be really excited to see what they do with their music next year and what moves they make. Another artist I do want to throw in there is Skywater, and his name has been talked about more and more recently this year, Not as much to the other artists I mentioned on this list, but he has been doing something right in his own lane because he's been dropping a lot of SoundCloud exclusives and they're getting people talking. And I always listen to a Skywater project. They're all really good. They're really well put together. So I'm really excited to see what he does next year as well. But that's it for level 4. Let me know any artists you guys would have thrown in here as well. I'm open to hearing what you guys say in the comments. And let's move on to the final level, which is level 5. Now for level 5, it's just going to be pretty standard. This is the mainstream underground. These are the most talked about artists in the scene. They probably have the biggest numbers. They probably had a couple appearances on Billboard, and they're pretty set in where they are. The first artist in this category is going to be Osama-san. He released 2 really good albums this year. He's currently on tour. He got major cosigns. He's doing everything right, and he's probably the biggest artist in the underground scene right now. And he also has a really good team, and he's probably the most talked about too. But if you listen to underground music, you obviously know who Osama-san is, so there's not much to say about him. Next up, I have Netspend. We all know Netspend as well. He came up with Osama-san in 2023 and 2024. He's had crazy cosigns this year, being with models, Paris Hilton, bigger rappers than even Osama-san. Netspend's pretty set in where he's at too. He's getting out of here, and he's gearing up to release his next album, Early Life Crisis. So we'll see where he's at musically, but in terms of cosigns and just public appearances, he's way past the underground level. Next up, we got Chan and Xavier So Based. Those two, they've been partnering up a lot on music recently, but they're basically in the same boat as Osama-san and Netspend. They're heavily affiliated together, most talked about in the underground. They're on their way to mainstream levels as well. And now there's one more artist I want to throw in here, and that's Glock 40 Spaz. He released Baby Woe 2 this year, and that album was amazing. It was a really good album, and he's having an amazing tour right now. If you go look it up on TikTok or Twitter, the mosh pits for that is going insane. Glock is having a lot of fun on tour. I'm glad that he kind of built that hype back up for his name after he got out of prison, because after he got out, it was kind of gloomy for his career, but he brought it back really fast. But before we end off on the video, I just want to give a shout out to someone who hit me up on Instagram. His name is XO Finesse, and he just dropped an album on Apple Music, and I think all plats. It's more a Florida style album, not too heavy in the underground niche, but it's a really well put together project, and if you guys could go check that out, it would mean a lot to me. Once again, his name is XO Finesse. Go check him out on Apple Music. That's where I listen to the album, and yeah, let me know what you guys think of that in the comments. And if you do want your own songs or albums shouted out, hit me up in Instagram DMs and we'll talk more about it. But yeah, that's the video. That's the 5 levels of underground rappers. Let me know what you guys think of this. This is a kind of different video that I've ever made. And once again, thank you guys for 1,000 subs, and let's push for 2,000. But yeah, that's Eli. Drink food, eat water, and I'm out. Peace.